Hello, Brian Barrett. Checking in. Hello, Brian Barrett here. Jacob. Hello.
Hey, Brian, can you hear us?
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hello. Hello, am I connected?
Yes, you are, Brian. Sorry, we were accidentally muted.
No. Maybe that's better. Thanks, Jacob. Okay.
Go ahead. You can. No, I muted until.
Oh, we muted until we get started. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna give Robert a minute or two. He's still in Spain where it's midnight.
Pretty faces because you pointed at me. We'll bust that lens in about 2 seconds.
Oh,
Do you mind hitting our thing, our video? Okay, everybody set? Okay. It's 6 p.m. Going to call this meeting to order. This is the regular business meeting of the Smithfield Township Board of Supervisors. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible.
Thank you very much. Members present include Vice Chair Robert Levenheim via Zoom, Supervisor Brian Barrett also via Zoom, myself, Chairman Jacob Pride, our Office Manager Julia Heilicke, our Solicitor Ron Karasak, Engineer John Trester, and our new Budget and Finance Manager Lucas DiBartolo. In terms of announcements, the meeting was advertised in accordance with the Sunshine Law and in accordance with the new rules on agendas. I figured this is a disclaimer that we can add to meetings going forward. The Zoom information and YouTube information was also published ahead of time. Our first order of business is the consideration of the minutes from the July 13th, 2022 regular business meeting.
So at this time, the board does not have those.
We don't have them. Okay. All right. So do I hear a motion that we table those then?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Levenheim. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barrett. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are tabled. We do not have any public hearings, nor do we have plans to act on. Therefore, we will go to our reports. And first, we have Ron for our solicitor's report. I know you had a couple of things you wanted to.
Just a couple, Mr. Chair. with respect to the zoning matter for the Orchard BJK, that's later on in the agenda, so we won't address anything now. But I do want to address the Trapasso Eagle Valley storage, self-storage units matter. If you recall, on July 13 at your regular meeting, you took official action on that plan and provided or gave it preliminary final plan land development approval.
Mhm.
At that time, we did not, let's say we, the supervisors, I'm sorry, did not act upon the saldo waivers that were outstanding. And there were a number of them. I believe that
19, Ron?
somewhere in, yeah, something like that, 18 or 19 waivers. And again,
Yeah.
you know, I dropped the ball, although I wish there would be someone else keeping track of times rather than the lawyer, but be that as it may, we need to act upon those saldo waivers. Now, the Township Planning Commission has approved of all of the waivers without any conditions except the one waiver about relocating trees and shrubs to the south side of the driveway. Other than that, all those other waivers were approved or recommended for approval. So the matter is really not technically on the agenda, but if you could at least consider those waivers this evening and make a motion to approve them, at least they are now approved and they are under our belt. And other than that, there's a number of other items occurring. You have my solicitor's report, but there's really nothing pressing need to discuss right now, other than, again, the Trapasso matter and the zoning matter for which Attorney Maturk is here and we'll address later.
Okay,
I was at the planning commission meeting and heard the debate on this and was there when they approved all these. It didn't seem like there was any reason that we should not approve them after they have approved them. And they were all rather minor things, as I remember.
And then we could approve everything that the PC recommended. But there was one, Ron, one that they did not.
There was the very last one dealt with stormwater management facility landscaping. And there was some issue with respect to trees and number of trees, and the landscaping buffer was calculated by maybe some existing vegetation, et cetera. And the condition there was that the waiver would be approved on condition that there would be a decision to relocate the trees and the shrubs to the south side of the driveway. They were asking for a reduction in number of trees and shrubs around the perimeter of the stormwater facility. And the planning commission said, all right, we'll give you a waiver, but on condition that there will be other trees or shrubs on the south side of the driveway. So that was the condition on that waiver, if you will. Other than that, they were all approved. I believe that Commissioner Shriver did not agree to the type of fence or detention around the detention basin or the retention basin, but everyone else agreed. And they have submitted a very comprehensive letter, which was dated May 26th, covering 8 pages that review each of the waivers and the reasons for them. And that waiver would be made part of any official action that would be taken by the supervisors on the waiver.
This is John. If I can just clarify, the reason for the one waiver regarding the plantings around the detention basin was that based on the number of plantings required in our ordinance, they couldn't physically fit them all around the detention basin. So they did agree that they would relocate them to the along the road. So that was why the waiver was requested, and that's why the condition was put on the granting of the waiver that they be moved to the alongside the road.
Fair enough. That said, do I hear a motion that we act upon the solicitor and engineer's recommendation that the planning commission's waivers recommendations be accepted by the board of supervisors?
Yeah, I'll make that.
I'll second.
Okay, all right, motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have of pressing importance for this evening.
thank you very much. John, anything?
I have just a couple of items. I know, Jacob, you've been involved. There's been quite a bit of back and forth on the controller for the traffic signal that's being proposed, or signals, I should say, down at the Gateway Center. I think we finally have that resolved, but that was a lot of back and forth. Another item I wanted to bring up is the fishing pier. We did grant an extension until September 30th. We tried to contact the contractor for the past week. We're not hearing much back. And I was wondering whether the board would like me to write a letter putting him on notice that September 30th is the deadline. After that point, there will be liquidated damages if he's not complete, and that we're not going to grant any further extensions. I think we've already granted them.
Right, we've been more than liberal.
three.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to blindside them on September 15th or something. I think a letter now would be appropriate to try to get his attention and get him moving.
Yep. Is
I
it,
having been involved in the negotiations for this, I agree completely. Let's get it over with. This is done on far enough.
guys, is this Pioneer? Is this Pioneer Engineering?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just asking. Yeah, I agree with Robert and John's recommendation. Write
Yeah.
that letter.
That'd be, yeah, that would be terrific.
And the final thing I just want to mention, we did get our permit for Kings Road culvert, so we can get that ready and put it out to bid.
Oh, that's
Oh,
tremendous.
good.
That'll
And
be
that's
great.
all that I have.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That said, we're going to move on to new business. One of the items I've added here is the consent agenda. This is what some municipalities do to speed up some of the routine things that they do. Sometimes they include minutes. I feel like minutes should be scrutinized a little more than perhaps others, but I've included on this one an action that would ratify the sponsorship request for RSVP, which is $80, which we have done yearly. Ratify letter of support for Delaware Water Gaps multimodal fund application. Authorize a proclamation for an Eagle Scout achievement. And authorize letters of support for township affiliated organizations going forward, so they don't necessarily have to come up for discussion. Examples would be FC Pocono, Broadwood Watershed Association, things that we contribute to. So, anybody have any questions on the concept there?
You should know, Mr. Chair, that Upper Mount Bethel Township, where I'm also solicitor in Northampton County,
Mhm.
also does the consent agenda, and they do it very effectively. Basically, as you know, it's for very routine matters. And the rule, at least in Upper Mount Bethel, if someone wants to put it on the regular agenda for discussion, they may. Other than that, agreeing on the consent agenda gets them all done at one time.
That sound all right with you two, Robert and Brian?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That does.
Okay, terrific. Do I hear a motion that we adopt the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Levenheim. Do I hear a second?
Second here.
Second, by Mr. Barrett. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next up is the discussion regarding the bids for the Marshall's Falls Phase 1, as well as the potential funding gap. So Brian Smith is here from Barry ISIT, just so everyone knows, so we don't confuse everybody. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. So good evening, board. Again, this is Brian Smith with Barry ISIT and Associates. As you are aware, we put out the project bid. We did receive 3 complete bids. The first bid was from Cobalt Construction. The base bid amount was for $989,330.50.
Jacob? Jacob,
Yeah.
would you mind?
Yes, Robert.
Would you let Brian take one of the empty chairs on the dais? It's a little difficult to hear him in the background there.
Feel free. Yeah, I'll do that now.
Hello?
Hello?
Yep, no, he's just walking over.
Oh, okay.
You're fine.
Okay, so we received 3 bids for the project. The first one is from Cobalt Construction. It was for $989,330.50. There were 2 alternate bids. The first was for an alternate foundation design. Their cost for that alternate bid was $0. There was a second alternate to provide an alternate decking of composite lumber, and that was an alternate add of $25,000. So their total bid was for $1,014,330.50. Second bid,
Who was that by? What contractors made that bid?
Cobalt Construction.
They-
They're out
they-
of Swiftwater.
Yeah, I know. I know their name. Have you worked with them?
Yes, on multiple projects.
Okay.
The second bid was from Hazelton Site. Their base bid amount was $1,248,842. The alternate bid 1 was for $0, and the alternate bid 2 was for $1,000. So their total combined bid was $1,249,842. The third bid was from James O'Hara. Their base bid amount was $1,288,000. Their alternate bid 1 was a deduct of $40,000. And their alternate bid 2 was an additional $46,000 for a total bid of $1,294.00. Those were the 3 received bids. All 3 were complete. So as you remember, obviously this project has taken a variety of shapes as it's gone through the planning process from day 1 to where we're at today. The initial funding for the project was a combination of DCNR and DCED funds in the total amount of $389,138. Township has received additional funds from DCED, $340,000 for a total of grant funds of $729,138. So with a Cobalt bid of $1,014,330.50, that gives us a difference of $285,192.50. So my recommendation would be to go to DCNR and request additional funding. They do require the funding to be matched dollar for dollar, but you can use the DCED funds as that match.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. That's the best deal that we're gonna get, but
Yeah, so it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely worth a request.
right. And it doesn't obligate us to do something at this second. We can request the.
So that's up to the board. So you have an option now to either table this to the next meeting, and we can try to figure out what DCNR will do. The second alternative is to do a conditional approval, determining if you want to proceed, if DCNR gives the funds. If they don't, you can either bring it back to the board for discussion, or if you have some other source of funding to make up the difference.
Right.
Byron, I just have a question, Jacob. There were quite a few bids that went out, and some of the big players never moved on it. No bids from like Pioneer or any of those people. Northeastern. No kidding.
No, so Brian,
Yep.
at the pre-bid meeting, there were, I believe, 8 firms represented. So of those, we only received these 3. I know there were a number of other bids or contractors bidding on other projects, so it's possible they just didn't get time to finish the bid.
Okay. Well, I think we should look to see if there's further funding then. We could do that, and then we'll table it and come back to it the meeting in August.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds fair to me. I'd love to see if DCNR is interested in giving us some extra money on this.
Sure.
All right. That said, do I hear a motion that we table this till our next meeting?
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Barrett. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Second, Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So there is a letter that will have to come from the township making that request. Are you guys okay with sending that letter in?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll coordinate with Julia.
Yeah, that'll be terrific. We appreciate all your help on this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great project and we're actually anxious to see it getting carried out, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very good.
Great. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Our next order of business is a discussion for the scheduling of the hearing for the Orchard BJK application for rezoning of their parcels. Ralph,
Good evening. Keep my voice up so that I can be heard. Hopefully, Brian, you can hear me. I'm here on the petition for amendment of the zoning ordinance, which is a map amendment to accommodate a proposed project along Route 2 line on property that's owned by Russell T. Scott and Craig Scott. Russ Scott is here this evening with his counsel, Albert Murray, joining me. I also represent Orchard, which is a petitioner in this application as well, Orchard BJK Company LLC, and M Manor Holding LP, which is also a property owner in the affected area that is sought to be rezoned to ED. And the purpose of the zoning petition is to accommodate a proposed dry warehouse project on the subject parcels. The petition was brought into the township on the 28th of June. I supplemented the petition this past Friday with an application for public hearing that was accepted by the township. And we're now at a point where if the board is inclined, we would ask that you set the public hearing on this zoning amendment. So I can speak to perhaps, or Ron wants to speak to the dates. There are requirements for sending notice. I will tell you that there are 4 property owners involved in the impacted area. 3 of them are in the petition. 1 is not. So there will be 1 required notice sent to a non-petitioning property owner. There was a small parcel on Route 209. That owner was Thomas E. Gardy, if I'm saying it right, G-A-R-D-E, in County L. Gardy. Ron, I'll provide you with the tax information and the notice provision for that. That property was included in order to be able to get sufficient isolation distance to a proposed highway access along 209. Come along, if the zoning is approved, it would be part of the land development presentation. So you need, if I'm reading the ordinances correctly, you need to submit by mail. You need to actually mail, not receive, but mail at least 30 days in advance of the hearing to each of the property owners impacted. You have to deliver the petition to the planning commissions, both your planning commission, township, and county at least 30 days in advance. And you have to post the property at least 7 days in advance. So with those requirements, we ask you to consider setting the hearing.
And the only other requirement would be you have to advertise once a week for 2 successive weeks, not more than 30 days or less than 7 from the public hearing. And there are 2 advertisements, the one for the township, which is a dual advertisement, and one by the solicitor, which is a single advertisement. And we just did this with the addition of the map amendments or changes to the economic development district. So we've gone through this procedure just recently. And I think to get it going, you need to see that the petition gets to the planning commission and to the Monroe County Planning Commission. They have 30 days in which to act. Let's assume that we get a notice prepared for Ken to not only post the property, but also get to the other owner. So you may want to pick a date now, maybe 30 days out, maybe 35 or 40 days out.
I mean, I would say that the earliest public meeting in which this could be addressed is really September 14th, because even if we were to mail this, tomorrow, we don't have a meeting in that last extra long or short week of August, nor do we have one in the first week of
Mr. Bryan, I was looking at your schedule online,
Sure.
thinking that oftentimes the boards will want to schedule these public hearings for the night. So you do not have to convene a special meeting. I mean, we'll take it either way as early as possible.
Sure.
But you're correct. Your the earliest public meeting that you have scheduled is 14th of September. Now, your planning commission meets on the 18th of August, and I believe the 11th of August and the 8th of September.
Right.
I don't know when the county meets.
What is the farthest outside date where we could schedule this public hearing? Ron, can you tell us that?
Ron, for 1 second, I get my calendar up here. Well, we meet, if we're saying that August is out because of time frames and advertising frames and vacations, whatever, you have 2 meetings in September, which would be September 13 or September, I'm in the right year here, let me make sure,
Yeah.
Or September 14, I'm still doing Tuesday, September 14 or September 28. I think either of them would be more than enough time in which to get things done and get them reviewed, especially our planning commission meets twice. So if they miss it in August, they can look at it again in September. The Monroe Planning Commission, I think Brian is a member, so that hopefully that'll get ministered by him. And then I just need to get the advertising done, which again, the earliest it can be 30 days out. So I would have a little time to get the advertising together.
I would say that the 28th.
Now we got to notify that one owner.
I would say the 28th is a good date. What I'm worried about, and what I'd like adequate time for, is to be able to notify, especially the residents of Craig's Meadow Road, about this, because I think several of them may want to attend the public hearing, and I'd like to give them as much time as possible.
I agree.
All right, well, if that's the case, then I would ask the chair to see if a motion can be made to schedule that date as the public hearing by the Township Board of Supervisors. The time, I'm assuming again, will be 6 p.m. because that's the time we've been using. And then we'll work toward that date.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion to schedule for the 28th of September at our normal meeting time.
All right. Motion by Mr. Levenheim. Do I hear a second?
Yes, a second.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, I think the 14th is ample, but 28th it is.
Is that at 6 p.m.? I think?
6 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much for your consideration this evening.
Thank you as always. Excellent job.
You guys should really hang out sometime.
Mr. Murray, I haven't seen him probably 30 years. I've got to be 30 years. It's been a long time. Good to see you. I'm glad to see you're upright and you're still taking nourishment and everything is good.
Still hanging in there. Well, you can always come down to 630 Marshall Creek Road, although it's Middle Smithfield Township, and hang out with me as the cars go.
I might do that. You might see me one day.
Come on down, hang out with me. That's why I've been there. I've been in my old log cabin, my chestnut log cabin. for 48 years.
There you
now,
go.
so come on and do.
All right, Will, good to see you. Please stay healthy and be safe going home.
Take care, Sonny. See you soon.
Okay, good. Oh. When I walked in, there was this pen on one of the chairs. So I don't want to be accused of stealing. a pen. So Julia.
Oh, no.
Did you?
Yeah, let the record reflect.
All right, we'll see you later. You take care.
Thank you for the order.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So our next item on the agenda is the consideration for the release of the balance of a conditional use fee, which was from the Stratz conditional use application. Mr. Stratz paid the $1,500 flat fee, which he, acknowledged was a flat fee at the time. He expressed his issue with that. However, we, did the work, and the total expenses between April legal and engineering fees and May legal and engineering fees totaled $1,374.99. I think we're within our right to return the difference, although it's only, $125.01. I think that's fair because we're not in the business of keeping people's money if it wasn't utilized on something. We've since changed our system to an escrow system, so that'll never happen again anyway. So,
Well, I would say to you, Mr. Chair, if the money was not used, you should not use, meaning the township should not keep it. And I think sending it back is not only a commendable gesture, that $125.01, we're not going to break the bank. So.
correct. Anybody have any questions on that?
I motion we do that, Jacob.
Okay, motion by Mr. Barrett. All second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Terrific. Next is the consideration for the authorization of the Twin Lakes Estates Property Owners Association application for a grant from PEMA for the Sweetwater Dam. Julia, I believe you can speak to that. Everyone should have got an email with this stuff from Julia, but I made sure that it was sent out again.
Sure. I received correspondence from Bob Brown regarding the Sweetwater Dam. They're working with the FEMA associate right now to pursue a high hazard dam grant to help mitigate some of the engineering costs related to the upkeep of this dam. After speaking with Bob Brown, he expressed that because Twin Lake Estates is not a municipality, they need basically a municipal sponsorship letter stating that we do have a hazard mitigation plan, that we have a floodplain management, and there are other items that need to be addressed. So basically, the way he explained it is that the township would be sponsoring this to ensure that funds received by them from FEMA would be spent wisely. This application, as my email stated when I sent it out to you, needs to be submitted no later than September 29th. So we are a little under the gun with this. Bob Brown is currently busy until 7 p.m., but has asked that if any of the board members have questions, that you pass signing the commitment letter conditionally upon getting your questions answered, and we'll be able to contact him at 7 o'clock.
I will say at this rate, I don't think this meeting's going to be going at 7 o'clock, so I have no problem with the conditional approval since it's going to help us recoup some of the costs on the engineering and the work done in this dam, because it's kind of been a perpetual expense that I don't think the township really wanted to sign up for, but was on the hook for anyway. I don't know if you all feel the same.
I have old files, Mr. Chair, on Sweetwater Dam, and there was another dam. There were two of them. I can't remember the name now, that had just been sitting in my files because the costs to repair those dams were astronomical. So if this is a way where one of those dams can be somewhat taken care of by way of repair, I see no legal reason why you could not do this.
Excellent. Robert, Brian,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Just one question, Jacob. How do the monies involved? How will it be split up? The costs.
The
Of
way
course, that.
Mr. Brown-
Pardon
Sorry,
me.
Brian.
Lost you.
So the way that this has been explained to me, and I'm still verifying it going through the paperwork, it is a 35% match with a 65% grant. And the way that works is that this would be backwards reimbursable for the engineering expenses, which means that this will be, the match is coming from money that the township and Twin Lake Estates has already put towards the project.
How about the homeowners association? And there was a third partner. Is it just the township now?
I'm not familiar enough with the grant and the dam itself to know, but they need the municipality to sponsor the letter because we're the government in which the dam is located.
I understand that.
This would not cost the township any additional funds that we would not already be expending on the repair for the engineering and maintenance of the dam.
Okay. We'll talk about this later. That goes back several years with me, and I don't think we should be involved with it, period. And Brian, I think you may remember we had one or two public hearings where we said, hey, we don't own the dam. We're not an HOA. We have nothing to do with it. We don't do any work on it.
As I understand this, unless we get behind it, they can't apply for a FEMA grant. Is that correct?
Sounds like that.
Yeah, if you look at page 6 of the documents that I sent to you, I think it was back on Thursday, I spoke with Bob. The subrecipient eligibility criteria, which starts on the bottom of page 6, requires that there's a dam safety program, that there's an adopted hazard mitigation plan, and all of the other requirements on page 7. Kirk, I believe his name is Kirk Kreider, is the chief section person helping Twin Lake Estates go through this, and he needs that letter in order to be able to move forward with the grant.
And when we've established that it won't cost us anything, I have a motion on the table to approve.
And I would second that motion, Robert.
Okay, motion by Mr. Levenheim, second by Mr. Barrett. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Before we get to the bills and then adjournment, do we have anything from the Board of Supervisors to report?
Not here.
Okay.
I'd like to say before we adjourn, I'd just like to say, is Lucas in the office?
He is. He is.
Lucas, welcome aboard. Brian Barrett here. Sooner or later, you'll get to see me.
Thanks so much, Brian. I don't know if you can hear me, but I appreciate it.
Got it. Okay.
All right, sweet. That's good. All right. Yeah. Welcome aboard, Lucas. All right. That said, our bills total $50,529.87. There's also payroll expenses included in there. Then there's highway expenses of $20,000 and change. That said, do I hear a motion that we pay our bills?
A motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, Brian seconded the motion. Okay. Do we have any public comments? Seeing as we don't have any anybody here in person or anybody on Zoom that has a public comment? Okay,
Quiet.
hearing none. Hearing none, do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
You got
Make
it.
the motion to adjourn. I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Levenheim, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.